Hi and welcome to my channel. Today I have my daughter Viviana with me, and today is going to be a different type of video. I'm going to start doing Mommy Monday segments every Monday, or at least every other Monday maybe. Excuse me. It doesn't necessarily have to be about being a mom or having a baby, but just lifestyle type videos, no more personal videos. I'm going to leave my Ask FM link in the description box if anybody wants to ask questions or, suggest a type of video. I'm open to ideas. Let me know. I have a lot of free time. I'm currently a stay-at-home mom, so I have some time to spare at least. I have my makeup. The makeup that I have on right now, I did a video about. Honestly, it's not super great. I took my eyelashes off, my false eyelashes off, because they were irritating my eyes. Oh my goodness, girl. She keeps farting. But today I'm going to be talking about my labor and delivery story. Yeah, about how I had you. I currently am 18. I had her at 18. I got pregnant at 17. And she was born November 15th at, I believe, 10:06 a.m. I actually was supposed to, my due date was November 18th, and I ended up having to get induced. The story kind of behind that is because around the time I got pregnant, I was taking medicine. I was taking a prescription. Not those type of drugs, mama, but a prescription. Look at the camera, don't look at me. I was taking a prescription around the time I got pregnant, and my doctors felt that it would be better for me to get seen by maternal-fetal medicine, which specialize in just making sure she was okay in my stomach or whatever. And they later found out that I had strep B virus. Strep B. It's a bacteria that 1 in 4 pregnant women carry that could potentially be deadly to her. And it was important that I receive antibiotics all through my labor and delivery. So I was induced the 14th. I went to the hospital. Well, Eddie and I, my husband, went to the hospital around, I think we got there like at 5:30. It was actually the day of my uncle's wedding. He'd been dating my aunt for 12 years, and I always used to bug him about, when are you gonna propose, when are you gonna get married so I can move on with my life. And I ended up not being able to make it to the wedding because I was having Viviana, which I don't mind. I really don't mind. But around 5:30 we went to the hospital, and I got set up in my room, my delivery room, and I automatically was put on the machine to monitor my contractions and her heartbeat, which at that time I wasn't having any. I was 39 weeks in 3 days. Yeah, I think 3 days. Or Saturday I was 2, but whatever. And I was given a drug to start thinning my cervix. I think that's what it was for. And I was told that it would probably take at least 2 days to start having contractions and have her. But I'm really sensitive to medicines, and I started having contractions within like 2 hours. Yeah, I did. And they gave me a sleeping medicine because they didn't think it was gonna start that early. And I started getting contractions, and what really sucked about it was that the nurse, she could tell if I was having contractions on the monitor. Well, at least she thought she could, because I was having these horrible contractions, and I was like grabbing onto the sides. I was like, oh my god, this really hurts. But I was trying not to say anything because I didn't want to seem like a wuss. So, and Eddie was sleeping on the couch because he had work that day, and he fell asleep pretty quickly because we didn't think anything was gonna happen. And she's like, "Oh, honey, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." She was asking me if she thought I was having a contraction. I'm like, "I think so." And she's like, she looked on the monitor and she was like, "Oh no, honey, that's probably just gas. That's just maybe a tiny contraction." I was like, "Oh my god, this really hurts." But I was tough through it, and the next like 3 hours, well, going back, I was only a centimeter dilated when I came in. You have to, for those who don't know, you have to be 10 centimeters dilated, which is about the width of 4 fingers, before you can actually start pushing. I was only a centimeter dilated, and within like 2 or 3 hours, I was already 3 centimeters dilated. So they were like, "Whoa, she really is going into labor." Whoa. But with the medicine, they put in, it was like almost like a tampon type of thing. TMI, I know, but this is the story. Labor and delivery is kind of gross, but I couldn't stand up really unless I had to go to the bathroom. Then I had to go straight back, and I had to be laying flat. So there was no walking to try to get through the pain or sitting up. I was just laying down, and I think that really made it worse. And I wanted an epidural like now, because it was pretty bad. At first it was like a tiny contraction, a couple minutes, another one, and then it was like contraction, okay, breathe a little bit, contraction, then it was all of a sudden it was like contraction, 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 and it was so horrible. And they asked me if I wanted epidural, and I was like, yeah, I really, really want one. So she called the midwife, because the midwife wasn't there yet. It was just the nurses helping me out, and she told me that I was approved to get epidural, but to try to give me pain medicines through my IV first, which that completely didn't go as planned, because the lady tried to put an IV in me, and she completely missed my vein. They were supposed to give me fluids and pain medicine to help me through until I was further along, but she missed my vein. I had like this huge ball of fluid on my arm. It hurt. They had to take the IV out, put a heating pad on me, and then they just gave me the epidural, which Eddie didn't want me to get it. We had heard some horror stories about people getting paralyzed or having severe back pain, but at that point, honestly, I really didn't care. So I was sitting there, Eddie was helping me out through the contractions. They stuck that needle in my back. I didn't even feel it going, honestly. Nobody ever taught me those breathing exercises, you know, so I was all like, oh my god. But yeah, and my parents and all my family was at that wedding in town. Easy, Viviana. Everybody was at the wedding, so we were just kind of on our own at that time. So yeah, we were. The sleeping medicine started to kick in. I was dozing off. I would wake up. I couldn't feel anything from like my belly button down. I couldn't feel anything. They would ask me, "Oh, you know, can you scoot up?" And I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't. And then around 7 or 8, I called my parents because they had checked me and I was already 10 centimeters. Hold on. I was already 10 centimeters at that time. Move your foot, Viviana. Viviana, move your foot. Okay. I was already 10 centimeters dilated at that time, so they told me, you know, if you have any more relatives coming to be here during your delivery, you know, call them, ask them to come. I called my mom. Nobody answered. I called my dad. Nobody answered. Called my sister. Called my brother. Everybody who was at my mom's house, if they would already come. So finally, I got a hold of my dad. I guess they had like this huge hangover, and they told me, oh, you know, we'll leave right now. We'll be there as soon as we can. So another like hour passed by. nobody was there. And it's only like a 40-minute drive from my mom's house to the hospital. So I was calling them, you know, what if they were rushing and something happened? So I was calling and nobody would answer. So I decided to call their house phone just in case my sister was there to ask them if they knew anything. So my dad answers and he's like, oh, yeah, we're on our way. We're almost there. We're like 5 minutes away. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? They hadn't even left. They had not left yet. Well, they finally got there. We got set up to push. It was Eddie on my right-hand side. Eddie on my right-hand side. My mom on my left. And my dad was over here by my head. He was just holding my hand over here. And we started pushing. Honestly, the beginning wasn't as hard as I anticipated it to be. We're doing pretty good. But what they weren't telling me at that time was that as I was pushing, her heartbeat was not doing so great. Every time I would push, her heartbeat would slow down. They didn't tell me that at that time, but they asked me to stop pushing, that they would give me a 20-minute break, and they would come back. And the midwife came back, we were pushing again, and what they tell you to do is they'll tell you, oh, okay, when you feel a contraction, push and hold it for 10 seconds, push for 10 seconds. And I couldn't feel the contractions at all. I was just laying there because of the epidural. I couldn't feel anything. So they took the epidural off and they were like, okay, we're going to wait for you to be able to start feeling your contractions. And that's when she left for those 20 minutes. And I was starting to get freaked out because I'm like, man, I'm starting to feel the pain again. I can feel my toes now. This isn't good. It was really starting to hurt. Which a lot of people think that when they give you an epidural, it's supposed to, you know, stop the pain throughout your whole labor. You didn't feel any pain. But even with the epidural, most of the time they end up taking it off so you can feel your contractions while you're pushing. The epidural, at least for me, was to kind of numb the pain for a few hours in between. But we pushed. I was only pushing for maybe 2 hours. Not even. It was like an hour, maybe an hour and a half before she came out. And I'm the type of person that if I see a baby, like a newborn baby, yeah, Viviana, yeah. Before I had Viviana, if I would see a newborn baby, I honestly thought babies were ugly. But as soon as she came out, they lay the babies on your chest. And she was the most beautiful baby I had ever seen. To me, she just looks exactly like her dad. Exactly like her dad. And after that, well, I just completely fell in love with her. Well, Eddie and I were both obsessed with her. She's my little baby. Well, she's our little baby, and she's the most important thing to us. That's pretty much it for my labor and delivery story. I did end up having to get stitches. I got stitches because she didn't come straight out. She came out at an angle. But my labor and delivery went pretty smoothly, and that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, any comments, any type of video you guys want to see, like I said, I'm gonna leave my Ask FM link down below, so you guys can, you know, go over to my Ask FM if you guys don't want to for me to know who you are, to ask questions, suggest videos, any type of thing like that. They don't have to be mommy type videos, but any type of lifestyle videos. I'm open to ideas. And Viviana and I have to go, so we'll see you guys later because she's getting fussy. Bye.